Hey gamers, check this out. The world's smallest 15.6-inch gaming laptop from Razer. If you want to get your game on and you want to bring it with you, you need a small laptop. And Razer's brand new, updated Razer Blade gives you your game in a tiny package. The company says this is the smallest 15.6-inch gaming laptop that doesn't give up on anything. If you've seen the old one, gone are those round curves, and the 1950s Apple style bezel, gone too. We're seeing narrow bezels, both sides and the top, but the camera's still on top. We do have per key lighting, standard Razer fare, you've seen it. The trackpad has changed, still a piano hinge, but the buttons are gone, a little bit bigger. And for those people who hate those tiny little cursor keys, they've gone to full height up and down keys on the keyboard. Power button's been moved, but what's exciting though is what's inside. This is a 15.6-inch laptop that Razer says is about 10% smaller than the next smallest laptop in its price range. And I gotta tell you, it's a little hard to see in video, but this really feels like an XPS 15, Dell's XPS 15 that everybody knows. This feels about that size, maybe just a tad bit bigger, but we know the XPS 15 doesn't have what's inside of this. And that is a 6-core Core i7 8750H, Intel's brand new 8th gen Coffee Lake H CPU, and wait for it, GeForce GTX 1060 Max-Q. And if that's not enough for you, Razer has an option that's a slightly thicker with the GeForce 1070 Max-Q. Amazing, and a body almost the size of an XPS 15. For screen options, you got 1080p, 60 Hertz. There's also an option for a 1080p 144 Hertz, no G-Sync, and if you want to go all the way up, 4K touch screen. This one, in fact, is the 4K touch screen that's a little bit thicker. Let's see, I'm going to make the touch work. You're kind of wondering, how are they able to do this? Well, keeping it this thin. Razer redesigned the complete laptop. Inside now is a huge vapor chamber. That's basically looks sort of like a heat pipe, but flat. It's about the size of my hand, or take a look at the video. This entire plate is a chamber that wicks the heat from the CPU and the GPU out to the back of the laptop. By doing that, Razer says they can actually cram all the hardware into such a thin laptop. And they've also made the battery a little bit bigger. I'm going to give you the specs. The previous model, the old kind of fuddy-duddy looking now, I got to say, that round one, I think it had about a 60 watt-hour battery. The new one's about 82 watt-hours. Oh, actually the old one was 72 watt-hours. The new one is 82 watt-hours. For storage, you get one M.2 options from 256 to 512, and it does support up to 2 terabytes. And actually, very interestingly, the old one, to make it thin, they had to actually solder the RAM down to the motherboard, which means you're never going to upgrade it. The new model has 2 SODIMM sockets and will come standard, the base model, with 16 gigs, which gives you 2 DDR4 2666 modules inside. And they actually thought about, do we want to give you one module at 16 gigs or 2 at 8, and they decided we're going to give you dual channel. Most people don't upgrade. The good news, of course, is you can upgrade it. It's fairly easy. Some laptops, really hard to get into. This one, you should be able to unscrew it, pull the bottom off, pull the vapor chamber off, and then you can access the M.2 and the RAM. Some laptops, I'm not going to say who, you pull the bottom off, you're looking at the motherboard, you got to pull a bunch of ribbon cables off, and you better cross your fingers because you are probably going to break that thing. So I think you got a better chance of upgrading the new Razer Blade. For display options, Thunderbolt 3, USB 2.1, there's actually 3 Type A's, HDMI 2.0, DisplayPort 1.4. Both of these are running off the GeForce cards, and the Thunderbolt 3 is running off the IGP as well as the panel. And again, there is no G-Sync on this, even at the 144 Hertz. That's because I think everybody's saying, you want better battery life. These things are so portable, you'll actually bring them with you. If you use G-Sync, you have to have that GeForce card on all the time. That's going to eat some battery life. Most people are going to want to take the battery life over the G-Sync. I don't know. It kind of still burns me to have a 144 hertz panel without G-Sync, but what are you going to do for now? All three panels are IPS-like, which means they are IPS, but probably not sharp. And again, last thing, price. So you're getting a thinner, lighter laptop. Oh, new power supply, 200 watts plus now. The older one was about 160. And this might be a bummer if you have the older Razer power supply. There is a different size power supply now. Last thing is the price. So what does it take to get you into this? The base model, 1080p, 60 hertz, 256 gig, 16 gig, GeForce 1060 Max-Q, $1899. Pretty good. And the nice thing is, that's really all you need. That's for your game. To get your game on, I'd probably want a little bit bigger SSD, but I gotta say, for $1,900, you're getting a really portable package you can bring with you and play games with.